Audible, Audible, audibletrial.com/jumbled. It's where you can find all the audiobooks. One of them is for free. So, take advantage. You're welcome. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Jumbled, your favorite podcast about nothing. I'm Zach.
And we're back.
We're back. I legitimately had to think about that intro.
Oh my gosh. You know what's sad? I've listened to that how many times in person as well as our recordings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember it.
Yeah. Well, you don't say it, right?
That's true. I mean, I think I
just
could
wait
do
on
the intro, the outro. Yeah. No fucking hope.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what you do is you just you sit around and you just wait for me to stop talking, and then you introduce yourself, assuming that I've done what I need to do for the intro.
That's basically it. Sometimes it's me having like a mini anxiety attack of trying to think of something funny, but then being like, you're just going to sound stupid, which I do regularly on this, which is why I don't really know why I care.
Yeah, I feel like we both sound equally stupid, though. I feel like if we're gauging out, like if this was like a competition, I think I'm gonna raise my hand and say that I sound more stupid on the regular.
I'm not gonna argue with that
sometimes. Yeah.
Not that I believe it or not. I'm not gonna argue. If you want to take that title, Z, it's all yours, baby.
I'm pretty okay with self-deprecating. So
you do have the better beard.
Thank you. It's getting pretty legit. Like, it's so long that it's not even all the way in camera frame anymore.
That's very true. You do have, I think, a hipper sense of style.
I don't know, man. I've got you remember me in college?
Yeah.
Now picture that, say, like, just an outfit
you were
that I
such a dad. I know. I've seen you wear the same shirts on this podcast.
Yeah. The same shirts that I wore in college, I wear now. I just have a beard and kids.
Yeah. And
that's
60
really,
pounds.
it's really.
Hey-yo.
And what? An extra pound? Extra pounds? Is that what you said? Yeah, man. That's not a lie either. I've definitely packed on the LBs. Speaking of LBs, man, you sent me a picture, and I thought you were getting ready to audition for for some movie where you needed to be emaciated. Like, what was that movie with Christian Bale where he's a boxer or something? Was it called The Boxer? I can't even remember what it was called.
Wait, are you saying I look frail?
Yeah, you sort of did a little bit. You look good. I mean,
I look frail?
I don't think I've ever seen you this thin is what I'm getting at. I'm not used to seeing thin Johnny.
I don't know how I feel about the adjective thin versus lean. Thin to me has like a negative connotation.
Well, you've definitely got more muscle mass than I do. That's 100% a given.
I'm still 190 pounds. Like, it's not like I'm...
But you've got to understand where I'm coming from, right? Dude, you're looking good. You're looking great. I've just never seen you this light before, so it's different.
To be honest,
it's thin for Johnny standards.
It is.
From what I know.
Typical peak performance Johnny was like 208 pounds at 6% body fat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 190 with 10, 11, maybe 12.
Kudos to you, man. 190. And you're 6'3"?
6'3", yeah.
Man. That's
Yo,
that's
man,
lean, dude.
I didn't get that Corona 15. I actually lost, I think, 15 since Corona.
Okay.
I mean, I've been working on it like consistently for
a
bunch of years. Originally out of, and I think still partially related to just wanting to compete at a different weight class.
Mm-hmm.
And, now I'm making, the plan was never to get to 185 originally, but now it kind of is.
Yeah.
And then... I'm only a couple pounds off of being able to say that I've lost 100 pounds 2 independent times. So for our listeners, that means I lost 100 pounds, and then I got super fat and gained 100 pounds.
Right.
and now have lost it again in completely two different ways.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's so much weight that you've burned.
Yeah, I the part about it for me that I think is really intriguing is like a completely different approach the second time around.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like the first time in college when I was like, okay, I need to get back into shape, and I started hammering it, I went through like the power lifter phase because I was fat. So like, well, if I'm at least I'm strong, it's okay. And then started cutting down, but it was through very gym rat mentality of lift heavy and lift frequently,
Right.
And eating 220 grams of protein a day to upkeep that mass. And then in my car accident and 5 years of doing nothing, and then you gain 100 pounds because I'm a fat kid at heart.
Yeah.
And this time around I've lost it through yoga and jiu-jitsu and boxing, like high volume cardio. I can honestly say I've never intentionally gone for a run with the mindset of I need to train for anything or I want to lose weight. Like I've chased my dogs. Yeah. And in the last 3 years I've played like some casual pickup sports with friends, but I've never been like, I'm going for a jog. So that's my big thing when people ask me about losing weight, because I definitely got it a lot before, like when in university and after university, and now even more so because there's some people that saw me or met me when I was super fit, saw me get really fat, and then I get fit again.
Sure.
And to say you don't need to run, and they're like, yeah, I have to go for a run. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, yeah, you do. It's like, I can guarantee you don't need to go for a run.
Yeah. I assume it's just self-control and, just normal activity of any sort. It doesn't have to be, striding, it doesn't have to be like sprints or anything like that.
I would say like losing weight is not complex. And I think people make it more complicated than it needs to be. It is definitely hard. Like I don't want to take away from it the amount of effort you have to put into it, but the concept is so simple. And you definitely see that more this time of eat less, move more, and focus on like macro progress, right? Too many people, and I'm prone to this as well with some of my own challenges, of like weighing yourself every day and then being hard on yourself. If I ate this chocolate bar, I'm a failure, and then you throw out the day, right? You're like, I already failed, so it doesn't make a difference. But if you look at that as one chocolate bar over a week, and if every other day was perfect, it's not really a big deal. Even if it's 2 chocolate bars, right? You have to look at the big picture and see that progress and not get hung up in that immediate moment and not be so hard on yourself. It's easier said than done.
Yeah. I feel like people do that a lot. They have sort of conditioned themselves from the get-go of, I have to do this perfectly, right? This has to be me being strict, sticking to this, whatever regiment I've set for myself, and if I sway, or if I stray from that, then I failed, and then just, pretty much might as well pack it up and head to the drive-thru, I feel like people are easily prone to throwing away or throwing the towel in, Whereas me, I just double down on the shit that I eat.
Just accept it.
Yeah, I was noticing you need to get a new picture with what's his face back there on
Norman Reedus?
Norman Reedus.
Man, we forgot to ask Jasmine if Santa assaulted me or not. I'll text her.
We'll have to. You know what? We might just have to redo that whole podcast.
Oh fuck! Are you serious?
So here's the deal, guys. I know we were on like a month-long hiatus here. Part of that was my fault. Part of that was just scheduling. We had a lot going on. I had a certification that I was studying for that I passed this past month. So I had a lot on my plate. Johnny's had a lot on his plate. And,
I do need to take some of the blame for that, Z, because I 100% paid for that program that records the Skype audio and video for this very fucking reason. And as we started that call, I was like, oh, I'll run this like I normally do when we have a guest now, right?
Right.
And knowing where they were in the professional studio, I was like, well, she's in that industry.
Right.
Should be fine.
Right.
Well,
I think
we had a bit
what
of an
we
echo.
need. Yeah. Well, it's not a bit of an echo. So basically what is happening, and this is no fault of Lacey or Jasmine's.
No.
I think we're very loud people.
Yes. I was yelling
and
quite
our
a
voices,
bit in that.
Yeah, our voices carry a lot. I really hope that I can go back through that and remove as much of the echo as I can to put it out, because I feel like re-recording it would sort of lose some of the magic. So I'll get it figured out. But I've just been in straight up, I don't want to deal with these editing issues, and because it's literally in between every time they talk and then we start talking, their monitors, their speakers were blasting out sound that was getting picked up by their microphone. So it's every time that we're talking, there's an echo. So I have to go through and I have to mute their audio.
Oh my God.
Straight up mute it every time we talk. And
that was like
talking
2
over each
hours.
other, I know. And if we're talking over each other, then there's echo that can be heard when they're talking and we're talking, and it's a whole big mess.
I don't care if we're interviewing Jesus himself. I never expect you to deal with that level of tediousness in audio editing.
And I don't want it to sound like I'm shitting on anybody, because we're not. Like,
shit. I mean, mistakes happen, right? We tested. It sounded good on our end. We didn't catch or hear anything, and we've definitely made worse mistakes, like me not turning on my microphone, or
me having my headphones up too loud and I can hear you echo in my track, and like it's there's always something. But what
it's jumbled. We always have tech issues.
What I think we need to do going forward, and this is something we don't really need to talk about in length, we should always just say, hey, I'm sure you've tested. Can you please just wear some headphones? Or mute whatever speakers you're using for playback or something, just because it seems to be a recurring thing. So,
yeah, for sure.
Anyway, that's part of the reason why.
Lacey, y'all owe us another episode.
And like I said, if I get a night where I've just got a wild hair at my ass or something, I just feel like getting.
How long do you think that takes you to edit? If it's 2 hours,
so far I'm about
recording.
A quarter in maybe, but I've already put in maybe an hour.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
But
that's still
a
lot. You're 5 hours to edit. I mean, 3 episodes, 2 episodes.
Yeah. So
I don't even remember what we talked about. So I think doing it again,
we're removed enough.
Be pretty good.
Yeah. The only thing that I think at this point is she probably doesn't have access to her studio anymore, so it would be fully Skype conversation.
Well, I think the same thing. I will always just record the audio.
Just have a backup, yeah.
Yeah, because it takes my input. So whatever I'm hearing, that's what it's taking, and it takes my mic, right? So
yeah,
it really limits the likelihood. If we're not hearing the echo, then it won't be in my half of the recording anyways.
Yeah. And that would definitely, I'll definitely if it gets to that point where it's like, oh man, it's going to take me forever to edit this, but we have the backup, I'll cut quality, or I'll throw quality to the wind, right? if we need to just have it to release it, that's fine. The whole purpose of having it is just purely as a backup, or if somebody doesn't have the ability to upload something that we can record them. So anyway, I'm sorry. But
what an exciting episode for our listeners, eh? Yeah. First time back in a month, and clearly we haven't chatted about podcast stuff in a while, so y'all get to see the behind the scenes. Yeah. This is a behind the scenes episode, but not the one you wish you were getting.
Right. So I just wanted to say to everybody, I'm sorry.
Nothing to
and
apologize for.
I'm sure if I looked at metrics, though, our numbers are probably, people are probably like, oh, these fuckers are done. Like, these guys are just,
oh no, it's gonna take us forever to recover.
Nah, it's okay.
That's
it's okay. How have you been, Johnny?
Just real busy, man. You know,
Yeah.
It's summer. We were on vacation for a couple of weeks. That's why we did some longer episodes. We were doing pretty good about having episodes banked.
Yeah.
Which paid some dividends. And just working a lot, riding a bit, got back into training, hurt my shoulder as we talked about. Continued to hurt my shoulder.
In pure Johnny fashion, you didn't pump the brakes at all. You just
hey, I got better. I was doing like weekly physio check-ins because my physio she knows me and she knows that like I will not train if she is very serious about it. But she knows that, and she knows my pain threshold, and she knows kind of my general situation and just living in pain on a regular basis anyways.
Right.
And she knows how important training is to me. So she's really good. And I really set that boundary early, but I've been working with her for 3 years now. And, so she was comfortable with me training, and we were talking about what I was doing and how I was doing it and certain intensities. And I was continuing to get some good progress. Definitely slower, and it would definitely be sore by the end of practice, but it was in general getting better. And then last Monday, it was, over the weekend, it wasn't feeling that great. Like it was getting a little worse. And then Monday I trained, and there was about 30 minutes left in rolling, and my arm was throbbing like really bad. And I was like sitting in my restaurant waiting and thinking, and I had the mature thought of, hey, John, is training the next 30 minutes worth potentially not being able to train for 9 months if you have to get shoulder surgery again?
Right.
And normally John would roll those dice like every time, 10 for 10. Yeah. We now had the 1 in 10 doctor,
Dude.
I thought about it, and then I went back to physio, and she was like, you definitely made it worse, so now you have to take this week off. And I looked at her, and she was like, you have to.
Right.
So I took all that week off, and then I went back a week later, and she said, good progress. Best if you still wait. Fuck. So week 2 of no training, I'm a little stir crazy.
I'm sure. But you seem to be doing okay as far as, remaining active enough to keep shedding the LBs. I mean, I'm sure most of that is just, like I said, not hitting the drive-throughs or
it's
having a little bit of...
It's pretty close attention to the diet for sure, and definitely eating not very few calories, but not a lot of calories.
Right.
Compared to American standards, definitely not. Yeah, and I've kind of like stalled
for the stars there,
Yeah, well, we all can't, Zach. But I've gained a couple pounds back, and again, it's like remembering not to get upset. 'Cause there was part of me when I hit 190, and then me breaking into the 180s is really hard, and that was like a holy shit moment. I'm really fucking close, and then I hurt my arm, and then was like, well, what can I do to work out? Like I can do some lower body yoga, but I can't do anything upper body, right? So what would you say would be like an unreasonable amount of crunches to do in one given time?
I don't know, man. An unreasonable amount?
Yeah, like where would you draw the line from like being a little bit crazy?
In one workout?
Yeah.
I would say anything north of 200.
Okay.
Tell me the number.
How many crunches do you think that you could do? Like proper form crunches, like elevated legs?
Dude, I'm in such shit shape, dude.
In 1 hour, how many could you do?
In 1 hour? Oh god, dude. Probably I don't know, if I pushed myself hard enough, I like to think that I'd be able to do. God, an hour's a long time, man. I feel like I could do more than. Even if I took breaks in between, I feel like I could do more than 200 if I just straight up did just crunches over an hour. You know, even if I'm doing one every 3 seconds, that's, what? Let me do the quick math. Is that 20 in a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you multiply that by 60, 20 times 60 would be 2,400. I mean, I don't think I'd be able to maintain that, right? But I think that a reasonable amount to expect of myself is, I'm going to say 350 in an hour. Right. I don't know if that's reasonable. I haven't worked out in so long. That might be a completely unreasonable amount. I might be undershooting it. I might be overshooting it. I mean, my fat ass I don't even know where the nearest gym is. So I can't even tell you. Well, give me the number though, Johnny. How many crunches did you do?
So today I did 4,051 minutes.
Oh my God, in 51 minutes, dude.
Again, emphasis
abs were
on
looking good though.
Proper form, like not lazy man just lifting your head crunches, flutterboard legs elevated full roll crunches.
Dude, fuck,
it's all I can do. I mean, I could do other things. I guess I could technically go for a run, but fuck that. I could skip. I might skip again. I might go outside and skip, but I always think it just annoys the shit out of my neighbors.
Now, when you say skip, you're meaning jump rope?
Yeah.
Or you're just talking about just literally skipping and go la 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 down the road?
Jumping rope.
I really wished it was just you. I just wished it was you skipping. Throwing one knee up in the air, loading yourself forward.
Singing a song.
Just singing a song, man. Blowing bubbles at the same time.
I mean, that has happened. I'm not going to deny that, but it's not what I was referring to at that point.
If it does happen, you make sure to snap that over to me, okay?
Noted.
By the way, I'm sorry for missing. I think you sent me that picture. I don't know if that was a week ago or 4 days ago or something like that. I just upgraded my phone, so I got the iPhone 11 Pro Max.
Ooh, baby.
And I forgot to log into Snapchat. So I logged in and I had like 6 different notifications. I was like, oh God.
All good.
Okay.
I think the only people I Snapchat are you and Lacey.
Yeah, I really I used to with my wife. I don't really even Snapchat with her anymore. I just do like Facebook Messenger or just text or whatever. I'm moving away from social media.
That's fair.
I mean, I still update Facebook or upload a photo or something like that, but I don't even Instagram that often. I do a lot of YouTube, but that's it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I probably do too much YouTube, but...
Yeah, what have you been watching?
Nerding up with the Minecraft stuff, man.
Minecrafting up. I like watching YouTube outside when I sit with the dogs at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I have fallen down a rabbit hole YouTube channel called Weird History.
Okay, never heard of it. What's up?
I highly recommend it. So how I found it, I think we talked on the podcast how I watched Into the Wild for what I thought was the first time, but probably the second time. I'm just too dumb to remember it.
Okay.
And Allie, I told you that, right? Like I think we talked about that.
I think so. I think.
Anyways, Allie ruined the story for me. Didn't know it was a real story. Whatever. You know how your phones are always listening to you. I was telling someone this basic story of how I was watching this movie, didn't remember it, and then Allie ruined it for me, and then talked about how this guy died. And so Google was listening, and then I was on YouTube, and it was like Weird History of how McCandles, I can't remember his first name, dies. So I watched it, and it was super fucking cool, like what facts they present, and you get kind of like the real story, I guess. So they do a lot of cool things. I clicked on his channel after that, and it was, I mean, what was it really like to be a Spartan, and kind of gets rid of like the Hollywood myths or what we think is.
It was super gay is what it was.
What?
It was super gay. I mean, that's whatever, dude. You know, you want to you want to do that? That's fine, but let's not sugarcoat it. They were, I mean, they
Yeah.
were 300 dudes by themselves. You know.
Hey, man, if the hole fits, fuck it.
I've missed this humor on the podcast, man.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. I just been watching so much fucking history things now, and like learning about Joan of Arc. I watched one about her, and
Badass
apparently
bitch.
there is some, you know, justification or support in that she faked her death and that she like escaped.
Yeah.
And apparently she was kind of a difficult person, understandably so. She really fought the system, so good for her.
Yeah.
I watched one about pirate doctors. Pretty disgusting. Most of the
Pirate
doctors on
doctors.
pirate ships were kidnapped.
See, I would have assumed that when you said pirate doctor, they picked the dude that had two eyes.
You can see the
Right.
best. All right, let's go.
You're the doctor now.
And I learned,
You don't know how to swing a sword. You're the doctor.
the term head for like the bathroom, like I gotta go to the head. It's not really like our generation, but
Nope, that's a very Canadian thing, Johnny. You've said another Canadianism.
it's just
that
an
I've
American
never...
person who makes this. You've never
Johnny-
heard of I gotta go to the
Johnny.
head?
No, I have.
All right.
The
well,
only
this is
head I've
more
heard
support
of-
for why you're the dumb one on this show of Dum Dums.
Perfect. The only the only head I've ever. There are two types of head that I've heard of, right? The one on your shoulders and the one that you get from a lady.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's
just
it.
means nothing to you then. I watched one about samurais, which was pretty cool.
Very nice.
But they have one on like 1980s. I didn't watch that one. I don't know, all kinds of different things. So it's not just, super old history. There's some modern history in there as well, which is pretty neat. But the guy's voice is very soothing to listen to, and they're kind of funny.
Is it like top tens, or does he really focus on a specific thing per?
Oh no, it's
episode?
like I mean, the episodes are anywhere from 6 to 12 minutes, and it will be, the history of the pyramids. Also a pretty cool one.
Tons of slaves.
Apparently not. Apparently they have evidence now, and based on like the physics and what they were doing, that the workers would be skilled artisans, and that moving the I can't remember what they're called, but the cubes, the big rocks, they've kind
They
of
had to move it from upstream, right, on the Nile.
Yeah, but so they talk about how they use water, but they also found more archaeological evidence about how they might have rolled the stones by using a bunch of like trees lashed around it, so it kind of turns it into a ball. And
Dude,
how
that's
and
awesome.
then how they could do that to get up the ledges of the pyramids.
That's some shit that I've never thought of, and that's honestly, if you said, "Hey, figure out a way that only a few people could make this thing in a specified amount of time without using heavy machinery," I wouldn't think of that.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool one. They broke down some of the hieroglyphics that were in the pyramids, and they showed how they would use rollers, like they would cut down trees and then they would put the slab on like a sled basically, and then they would pull it and it would roll across the trees.
Yeah.
And they would do that to get across the desert, and there were like pictures of guys dumping water, and the assumption was always that was ceremonial, or they were like trying to keep the workers cool. But now they've figured out that what they were doing was actually wetting the sand so that it would be harder. Like they knew that wet sand would compact, because if it was soft, the logs would just push in and it would like the weight wouldn't distribute properly.
Yeah.
So there's some, I don't know, it's like shit like that where you always just assume like, oh, it's slaves, because everything I've ever read or saw says slaves did it, and now it's, well, here's kind of a modern look. They did one on dinosaurs, and this was the best. So apparently dinosaurs don't roar.
Yeah.
They actually have the same kind of like vocal structure as a goose, so they would be honking. Could
Can
you
you
imagine?
A T-Rex.
I was just gonna say that. He talks about that. Just imagine the T-Rex from Jurassic Park that instead of like roaring and everything shaking, it's hop, hop.
Well, but let's also not glaze over the fact that geese are terrifying.
I agree completely.
They're terrible, and they're very territorial. We have a couple of them that set up shop on a little pond near our house. And especially in the spring and early summer, when they've got
babies?
their goslings with them.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, man. They're not fucking around, dude.
That's the Canadian Air Force, man. You don't want to dick around with that.
The Canadian Air Force. Oh, my God, dude. I've never heard of that. Okay, so you said that channel was called Interesting History?
Weird History.
Weird History.
Yeah.
Well, I was interested, so that's why I put interesting. Weird
Check
history.
it out, man. It's really good. I've gone down some rabbit holes, and I would sometimes listen to podcasts when I was at work, just to kind of like background noise. And I kind of stopped. I got kind of saturated with podcasts, which I think a lot of people do, but keep listening to Jumbled, even though we don't release new episodes as regularly anymore. And then I've started listening to this at work as just kind of like background noise. I mean, I catch kind of points here and there, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I've fallen off podcasts too. Like I think the last podcast I listened to was probably a couple weeks ago, and I've been listening to Fake Doctors Real Friends. It's by Zach Braff and Donald Faison for the Scrubs. You know, they rewatch the Scrubs episodes and then they talk about them, and it's been that's been funny.
I've heard it's pretty good, but I never watched Scrubs, so
you know what? If you got time,
is it worth?
And
should I put it on the list?
You should. I if nothing else, just to say that you've watched it, because there are some really good episodes. Oh God, dude. Well, here's the deal, right? Watch up until Zach Braff's character JD is leaving the hospital. I think there was like another season after, because that was supposed to be like the finale. Like there was like this big finale, and then they moved from, I can't remember, I think it was NBC. They moved from NBC to ABC, and the last season was just not good, because they didn't have the same people. I mean, they had cameos of some of the same people, but it wasn't regular, you know. So I would say definitely watch up until the finale, which I would claim is the finale. I tend to try to forget that Scrubs moved on to ABC for a season or two. But yeah, I would say it's worth it. Scrubs is one of my all-time favorites, honestly.
How would you compare it to like Silicon Valley? Did you watch Silicon Valley?
I have not watched Silicon Valley. Maybe that's one I need to add to my list.
You should. I really enjoyed it. It might be a good kind of like workout show for me. I like finding a show that I can just throw on, and I don't have to be super paying attention to it. It's just there, and
and the good thing is they're only 30-minute episodes.
Oh, that's good.
It's not like you're really devoting, a whole hour to a show. It's not that episodic. So you can watch as little or as much as you like, honestly.
There you go. Allie recently started watching Glee again.
See, I never really watched that much
Well,
Glee.
I'm gonna tell you this, Zach. I think we're almost done the first season. There are a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I got hooked pretty quickly.
Yeah. I figured there was a reason that everybody loved it so much. I just haven't watched it,
I would say I'm not quite through the first season, and the kind of like it's, I don't know, shtick is getting a little old for me. But I also think it's because I've been binge watching it pretty hard.
Yeah.
And binge watching for me is like we watch one episode a night, maybe two on the weekend. I think we watched 3, and that was like a fucking marathon. But usually that's what we do. Like right before bed, we'll watch an episode of Glee, and then we'll go to bed.
Right.
I've enjoyed it. It has been pretty funny.
All right, guys, we're going to stop to take a second to talk about the sponsor for this and every week of the podcast. That would be, you guys guessed it, Audible. Head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled. Again, that's audibletrial.com/jumbled. And pick up a free audiobook. And you got 30 days to do it. So take your time, figure out what you want. You know, you don't need to rush it. But just know that they're going to find something for you. You're going to find something, rather, in the over 180,000 and growing titles that you can choose from. The one that we are going to recommend for the tail end of July and the full month of August, because I'm lazy, is COVID-19, the pandemic that never should have happened, and how to stop the next one, by Deborah McKenzie. It's narrated by Cynthia Barrett. The length is 9 hours and 38 minutes. Basically, here is a quick publisher summary. I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'm just going to read the first paragraph, and I'll let you guys make an assessment on if you want to listen to the rest of it. Here we go. In a gripping, accessible narrative, a veteran science journalist lays out the shocking story of how the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic happened and how to make sure this never happens again. Over the last 30 years of epidemics and pandemics, we learned nearly every lesson needed to stop this coronavirus outbreak in its tracks. We heeded almost none of them. The result is a pandemic on a scale never before seen in our lifetimes. In this captivating, authoritative, and eye-opening book, science journalist Deborah McKenzie lays out the full story of how and why it happened, the previous viruses that should have prepared us, the shocking public health failures that paved the way, the failure to contain the outbreak, and most importantly, what we must do to prevent future pandemics. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to, it sounds really interesting to me, and I'm going to hit that button as soon as I'm done recording here. Feel free to listen to that one. If you don't want to listen to anything, if maybe you're burnt out by, COVID-19 or politics, I totally get that. Hope you're following all necessary protocols to make sure that you're staying safe. But there are so many other titles that you can find and choose from on Audible. So I really encourage you to take a look around and find something. Look in all the different categories. There's something there that's going to catch your eye and hold your attention. And they're going to hook you. That's how they get you with the first one. The first one's free. That's a taste. And then you got to pay for the next ones. But again, head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled. One more time, audibletrial.com/jumbled. And get your free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. Thank you, Audible. Thank you guys for supporting Audible and in turn supporting the podcast. Yeah, I'll have to. Man, I feel like there's a lot of them that I just haven't watched, or like even like older episodes or older shows that I feel like I should have watched more of that I don't think I have watched as much of, like Seinfeld. You know, I don't feel like I've watched every episode of Seinfeld. I've watched some of them for sure.
Episodes of Seinfeld.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, it's syndicated, right? So it's long enough where people can just buy rights to play it on their station, and you know, Jerry Seinfeld keeps raking the money in. So
just wild.
Can you imagine, dude? You imagine devoting like a decade of your life to doing one particular thing that just ends up paying you for the rest of your life?
Fucking brilliant. Apparently, that's what was it Keanu Reeves did for The Matrix?
Oh, I believe it. And there's another Matrix in the works too.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I don't know when it's going to get released, and I don't know where they are in the process. I know that fucking everything's getting pushed back a couple years now.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Keanu Reeves that for The Matrix, he took like a significantly lower like upfront pay, and he got ownership to like the film rights and to like the franchise or whatever.
That's brilliant.
And I guess people were making fun of him in Hollywood, like, you should have taken the money. You always take the money. Always take the money. And apparently that movie just makes him so much money. It's why he gets to do whatever movies he wants now, right? Like,
yeah. I feel like Keanu Reeves, just because of the things that he did earlier in his career, and it's sort of the same boat as like an Ashton Kutcher, where they played a character like what was it? Well, Ashton Kutcher obviously did That 70s Show,
Kelso,
and Dude,
yeah.
Where's My Car, and stuff like that. And then Keanu did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and stuff like that, and he's just like some surfer, like dumb kid or something like that. These people have severely misunderestimated,
that power,
how smart both of those guys are in investing in their future and things that they've done, since then have been just phenomenal. So,
to be
yeah,
rich.
I love both of them, Keanu Reeves and Ashton Kutcher, but especially I really love the John Wick movies, man. They get me every time.
Them. I love them. I mean, they've done a decent job at not getting too over the top, which I always refer to it as like the Fast and Furious effect, where the first one they're like stealing DVD players, and then the last one they're taking $1 million cars out of airplanes with parachutes and guns, and it's like every movie you're trying to top what you did last time. And to me, like, I don't need you to keep raising that bar. I just need you to consistently hit that bar, right? I don't, because if you start raising it, you just lose it, right? It gets fucking too ridiculous.
It becomes what's the guy's name? The action star he's British and he's bald.
Jason Statham.
It's like a Jason Statham movie, right? I mean, like pretty much anything Jason Statham does now is just over the top. What was that movie that he did? Where it wasn't called. Oh, it was Crank. Yeah, that was the most ridiculous
people go
movie.
to when you say what's the most stereotypical Jason Statham movie. That
God, that movie, dude!
Didn't his character fall out of an airplane and survive or something, and
something like that. He had sex in the middle of public.
Yeah, that's
what I remember.
Yeah, that was definitely
to keep his heart rate up, like that. I mean, I like the premise, right? I like the premise, and it's great that they didn't like. I mean, it's good for a little bit, right? The whole movie, you're just like, yeah, this is just fucking ridiculous. Like this is
wiener in an outlet. Wait, that was you.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, needle dick, dude. Shit. Yeah, no. Yeah. I feel like there is something to that, right? And I've always thought it's so ridiculous because Fast and Furious really isn't even about cars anymore. It's just action. It's an action movie. Like they're just shooting, like just
guns.
Shooting people, just shooting guns, right? I don't even know if Ludacris is part of the franchise anymore.
I think he still is. I don't know.
I think The Rock's in the movies now, right?
Yep.
So here's the thing. What are they up to? A cool 8, 9 movies?
I think they're going into 10. They're apparently filming it or something, or they're working on it.
Oh my god, they're releasing another one.
It's 9 or 10, yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
They make so much money though. Like, yeah, do it. I get it.
Well, they're not making money from me because I haven't seen one since like 3, maybe.
I would say that 3 was the best.
I think I think 3 was maybe where I left off.
I've watched them all except for the offshoot with The Rock, the Calvin and Hobbes or whatever.
Was that what? I don't think it was called
Shobbs and Hobbes.
I don't think it was called Calvin and Hobbes, dude.
Calvin and Hobbes. That's what I refer
to. The cartoon lion and the little boy.
It's a tiger. You doorknob. Anyways, I refuse to watch that one.
I meant tiger. I said lion. I meant tiger.
You did.
I've seen the comics. Okay, just relax.
Yeah, but I refuse to watch that one.
Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I love The Rock, and I'm pretty much a fanboy of anything The Rock does. But I do draw the line there. I like
vote for
honestly
him for president. Apparently that's a thing, right? Because your
Kanye
US
West
president is like the newest most popular person contest. America's Got Talent, President Edition.
Dude. I don't even want to talk about it. I just want it all to be over. Honestly, I just want America to plummet into a dark, dark place and have to learn a hard lesson. And maybe
I in general think that's the issue with society now, myself included, in many ways. Of you need to really know what suffering is to appreciate what you got, and I don't think we've had enough suffering in the last little bit. And COVID is COVID is shitty for us, but hey, at least it's not a fucking world war.
Yeah, dude, and honestly, COVID really hasn't been that shitty to me. COVID's been pretty chill. COVID's been pretty chill to me. Because, being an introvert,
You're a golden pony boy.
Yeah, I was built for this. I've said it on the podcast before. I was built for this. So COVID's been fine to me, but I understand how other people could get to the point, where they're tired of not being able to see their friends, they're tired of not being able to socialize, but I think, especially in America, it's got to the point where people are making up their own science and reasons why they shouldn't have to wear a mask, or they should be able to go into a store and do whatever the hell they want. I saw a video the other day, and this lady was citing studies. I think it was studies that she cited as like verified science or whatever, but they were studies that were not peer reviewed, and so it was like
grade A. It's so good they didn't even have to review it.
Right. So, but she was just saying things like, you can go into Walmart and you can tell them that you're not going to wear a mask, and they legally can't kick you out. Well, that's not what it's about, Karen, right? It's about if you need to be out in public, the least that you can do is throw a little bit of cloth over your face, get your shit as quick as you can, and get the fuck out of the store, and then go home. Like, that's what, and for the love of God, don't bring your kids along, because she had a full carload of kids with her.
Well, I mean, let's recognize that if she's a single parent, that might be a necessity of
her life. And I don't know her whole story. But there were kids that looked like they could have been old enough probably to hang out at the house.
Yeah. In general, try and do it alone.
Right. Or if you can't, right? The kids were at least old enough to, hey, I'm going to run in the store real quick, hang out in the car, lock the door. When you see me coming out, unlock the door or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to run in. I'm going to make this a point to get in quick, get out quick, because nobody should be out in public right now for longer than they need to, even if they're wearing a mask. Especially in the States, because people can't figure out how to behave in public, and now I'm pretty sure we're just getting ready to start all this quarantine shit over again. I mean, we're technically still partial quarantine. But
I think
I haven't returned back to work. And so I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah, I could 100% see us going back into like we're in phase 3 right now, but our numbers are spiking. Or we're in phase 2, sorry. We were trying to get to phase 3. We got to phase 2, and it was Ali's birthday this past weekend, so we did some stuff. We were originally supposed to go to the States. That didn't work out. And then we were going to go to the mountains. That didn't work out, so I had to kind of scramble and put together some day activities. Got my first ever mani-pedi in a private salon. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely going to do that again. And, Sorry?
I feel like I'm going to do one as well. I had one on Father's Day, but yeah.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. That's right.
But we were walking down in like a pretty popular district in Calgary, like breakfast and like kind of patios and stuff, and they were fucking packed. And like Ali and I were wearing masks, and we were walking outside. And I know like you don't necessarily have to, but it was like kind of a convenience thing. I didn't want to carry it. I just put it on my face. I get a little extra protection, not a big deal. And so many people were looking at us weird for wearing masks, and they were like crowded on the patios and like hugging each other. And like, yeah, I get it. You miss contact. I'm a very touchy-feely person. I get it. And I was just like, this is why. Like, people would go into phase 2 and everyone's like, okay, that's over. It's like, no, it's not over.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Don't be a ding dong.
Yeah, that's the thing I struggle with too. And I just ran to Subway earlier with my daughter because it's me and my daughter this week. And I was like, oh, I'll treat you to some lunch. And we went out to Subway and we were just grabbing our food, whatever. And in behind us walks this elderly gentleman. Now, granted, if you're wearing your mask and you're just trying to get in and out and do your thing, you should not feel like you need to be unable to go out and pick up food or something like that. It's the people like this elderly gentleman who are throwing caution to the wind and not wearing a mask at all. And also not wearing a mask and not being called out about it. Like, the employees of Subway didn't say anything to this guy. Now, granted, if he's out, this dude had to have been in his 70s. If he's walking upright, he probably wasn't feeling poor. But then again, if he's asymptomatic or something like that, how do you know, right? Anybody could be carrying the thing. Mm-hmm. So it's part of the population's responsibility, but you also have to put some onus on these businesses who aren't speaking up when people aren't following policy. Because in Jackson County, where I live, it is policy that every business has to enforce a mask policy.
Oh,
if you're
really?
coming in the business, if you're coming inside the business, aside from a few, like open air, like, private private property and stuff doesn't really apply. But any, like, store or gas station or whatever, if you're going inside of it, you have to wear a mask. And I've walked into several places where I just forgot. Like I don't get out often, so I always have my mask in my car, but I just hopped out of my car and I walked in. They're like, hold up. So they called me out, but it's not all the time.
Yeah.
And certain people are getting by that policy, and it bolsters other people to feel like they don't have to follow it either. So, I don't know. I feel like people just aren't taking it seriously enough, where it's just going to run its course. It's just going to keep going until who knows how long.
Mm-hmm. There are some pretty funny memes that are, it's like, America, how did you guys beat COVID? And then it's like every other developed country where we listened to scientists, we wore masks, and we quarantined. And then America, all right, then keep your secrets.
Yeah.
You just ignore everything else.
Yeah, there are no secrets. It's really, really easy, Even when it's, in China, where it was very much mandated, right? It's like, this is running rampant.
Mask, you go disappearing.
Right. Or, hey, you can't leave your house. Like, you're stuck. You can't go anywhere. But look at the results, right? Mm-hmm. Look at the results. They hit it early, they hit it hard, and they're doing fine. I mean, even somewhere like Italy, who got hit super hard early on. I mean, I remember seeing all the news when Italy was still
poster child of fuck. Like, this is serious.
It was awful. And then you see the UK surpassing their numbers, and then America is just it. I saw a chart the other day, and I have no idea. I've not
I love
seen if
them.
these.
I text them to you guys all the time. America #1.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if the numbers are how recent it is, but it was like it showed like Italy, like all these countries and their numbers, and then it showed like Italy and then Britain and then America, just like 10 times as many confirmed cases or whatever. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it was a staggeringly large amount. So basically, what I would like to say to anybody who's listened through all of this garbage to this point, number one, thank you. Number two, please, for the love of Christ, if you want this all to be over, wear a mask. Wear a mask. Be patient. Tell your friends to do the same. And tell them you'll see them whenever all this stuff starts calming down.
All right.
Because
if we... Sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought you were done.
You're fine. Nope, I'm done.
Okay. So total confirmed cases by country. John Hopkins University of Medicine.
Okay. So
I think we can
credible.
all agree.
Very credible.
Credible source.
Very credible. Yes.
Okay. Number 3, India. 1,483,000 confirmed cases.
It's a lot.
Number 2, Brazil. 2,483,000 cases.
Number 1, we're talking about countries with a very large amount of land, right? India and Brazil, some of the bigger countries on the planet. Go ahead.
Number 1, the greatest country in the world, the only country that has freedom.
Micronesia.
And this is how they prove it.
Micronesia.
The United, but not fully United States of America at 4,349,000.
Take that, Brazil. Learn Spanish like the rest of South America. Why are you speaking Portuguese? Right? You and Portugal. That's it.
Oh, here's an interesting...
I'm just kidding.
Interesting statistic.
It's shameful. It's shameful.
So, the United Kingdom is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number
I didn't
9.
know India and okay.
Sorry?
I didn't know India and Brazil were that high on confirmed cases. That's crazy. Okay. Anyway,
so United Kingdom is number 9 on total confirmed cases at 302,000.
Okay.
But they are number 3 on deaths at 45,000.
It must be a white person thing. Or like an English-speaking white person thing.
Well, number 2 is Brazil, so they're staying, proportionate representation there.
Right, but I think it's
versus deaths.
It's per capita, right? So it's like, what is the amount of deaths to their population, right?
No, this is just flat rate, like how many.
Oh, okay.
It's not per capita. So, and then number 1 for global deaths for this virus that is not a concern and is also a hoax, 150,000 deaths, just shy of 150,000 deaths.
What country was that? 150?
You, America.
That's us. Yeah, we're leading. We're leading. Yeah, God, it's shameful, man. I mean, the science and all the data shows you exactly what you need to know. And here's the thing. People keep saying like, oh, it's a hoax, it's a political ploy, whatever. This is a global pandemic. This is not a political ploy. The country of Brazil could give 2 fucks about what America's doing in their politics. The country of fucking, Nigeria or wherever else, right? They don't give a goddamn fuck about what America's doing. But Americans are so quick to say, no, this is all something that the liberals have made up, or this is, it's, I don't need to wear a mask because the science, blah, blah, blah. You're not a scientist. You went to, you graduated from high school, or you went 2 years, 4 years of college. You are not a scientist. You do not get to tell me what the science is. I am going to listen to credible news sources, credible, just credible sources in general about what this virus looks like, how it's spread, and things that we can do to curb it. I'm not going to listen to, Karen and Susan down the road who are fed up with having to stick around the inside of their house. I get it. It sucks, but it's not going to get better unless you take it seriously. It's laughable.
Yeah.
It's laughable.
Goddamn Karens.
And it's not even a political thing. It's not. There's no politics at all about it.
Oh, I don't like that. So
it's just because it's a
US.
Yeah.
And it does it by county, not by state. And I fucking hate that you guys do that.
What's it? Deaths by county is what it's saying?
Yeah. So Los
It's
Angeles.
because local governments, I assume, have different mandates than states, so they have to sort of break it up by counties, I assume. It's stupid. I'm tired of it.
Well, I wish you.
But I'm gonna keep
all
living
the
in
best.
quarantine.
It's a good thing you guys have that great healthcare system.
Yeah, solid healthcare system. I I'm sort of the mindset that I'm gonna do what's right for me, do what's right for my family. We already decided that we're going to keep our kids home for the first semester of school, regardless. They're not going back until at least spring semester, and that could change depending on how people want to act through the fall. So
that's fair.
We'll see. It really sucks for them, and I hate seeing it, but I would rather, not only for my kids, keep them home, but for everybody else that they come in contact with, because if for some reason we're asymptomatic or whatever, I don't want to risk putting somebody else's family in jeopardy for that.
Yeah, understandable for sure. That's your right as a parent, and I support your choice.
Yeah. And some people might, I think a lot of it, people have issues with, keeping their kids home from school because they have to work or they have to. I mean, there are valid reasons.
It's not easy. That's very.
There are valid reasons, right? But at this point, they're not rushing me back to work. My wife is getting into real estate, so honestly, a lot of the time she's going to be okay. And my oldest is of an age where if we need to leave for an hour, 2 hours, whatever, she's got a phone. She can
built-in
she's
babysitter.
Good. Yeah, she can just watch, my youngest and call if there's an emergency, and she knows what to do in the case of an emergency, and
good to go.
We're good. So we're just gonna keep rolling with what we got, and we're gonna try to do our little part to make it all go away quicker. But I don't think anybody else is on that same page.
Well, Zach, we should wrap this up with something positive. So, what is one thing that you're excited for the rest of this week?
Honestly, just spending more time with my youngest. I'm by myself this week with my little one, and the wife and my oldest are at scout camp this week. So we're just hanging out, man. We're having a fun time, and working on some little even though she's fresh out of kindergarten, still got her sort of working on some kindergarten age stuff, keeping her mentally prepared and ready for school. And then, just having fun, watching some movies and relaxing. Obviously, I'm still working during the day and stuff, but she's been pretty good about it. But I'm just looking forward to, spending a little bit more time just with her. It's hard to do that. It's hard to, but it's hard to do that with, with my attention divided 3 different ways, usually. So it's been good to just sort of hang out with her. What about you?
Well, for Allie's birthday, I bought myself a motorcycle, so I'm going to be riding that.
Another one?
I did.
How many you got now?
3.
Oh, okay. A reasonable amount.
I'm maybe a little bit over budget.
It's okay.
And then working, on catching that back up. But a good deal came across, and I have a very supportive and understanding wife, and she gave me the green light to make it work as long as I meet certain conditions, and those conditions are going to be met.
There you go, man. So you're going to be back out there in the garage working on it, or is it a project bike, or is it's done?
This one, I mean, it's going to need like ongoing maintenance, but it's actually almost the exact same bike as my dirt bike. But it's set up for street. It's very hooligan.
Oh, there you go.
It's the race bike that's supposed to be a dual sport, which is now a commuter. So I'm commuting on a race bike, and it's so much fun.
That's awesome, dude.
It also means I have to do oil changes like fucking every weekend, but you know what? It's worth it. I love those bikes. And I kind of like that I have 2 that are the same but different.
That's awesome.
Same bike, different purpose, baby.
There you go. All right, brother. So you're going to be out there just giving it, rubbing it down, kissing it, giving it all the attention you should be giving Allie.
Yeah, essentially.
Stick your dick in the tailpipe.
The whole fits, fuck it, Zach.
Oh, perfect. Don't get tetanus or anything. I don't want to see you on the next episode with your back all arched in half. Have you ever seen pictures of tetanus?
No,
patients?
I don't want to. That sounds horrendous. I had no idea that's what happens.
It curves you. It curves you the fuck up, dude. You look like you are being in the middle of being abducted by an alien, and they froze you in place. That's what it looks like. Yep, just back is all arched.
I'm gonna go get an extra tetanus shot just because I can get them for free. Because Canada, baby.
I have no idea when I got my last tetanus shot.
Zach, I have Jesus Christ.
I'm sure it probably happened, when I got surgery or something. But I think you're supposed to do it every 7 years, or something like that.
I'd have to get. I don't know. I poke myself with steel things regularly, so it's kind of like an ongoing.
God damn it.
Yep. Every time I go get stitches, tetanus booster, and I was like, fuck it, why not? Can't overdose on it.
Right. Yeah, I'm probably due. I don't know. I don't keep a running record of what shots I need. I know I have all of my necessary ones to help, catch a bunch of different bullshit. So I'm good with that. But I don't know about tetanus because it's not a permanent. It's not like you get a tetanus shot once and you're good. You got to
it's every 10 years or 7 or 10 years. You said, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I might need to look into that. But anyway. Well, Johnny, I'm excited for you and your new relationship with your bike and your polygamous relationship with all of your bikes and your wife at the same time.
She's a very patient woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But I think at this point, let's wrap it up, dude. What do you think?
Handing it over to you, big dog.
Deal. Okay, guys, bear with me while I stumble through the outro because I haven't done it in a month. Thanks for listening. We do appreciate you guys coming by. I usually would say each and every week, but it's been a month, so thanks for swinging back by. Make sure to tell all your friends about the podcast. We will do our best to be more regular about this stuff. Like I said, I hope to get the episode that I've been working through released maybe next week, maybe the week after. I don't know. It's a project that I'm going to work on for a bit, but we'll definitely get Lacey and Jasmine back on the podcast at some point. And if it hasn't been released by the time we get them back on, then we'll just release that one, and it'll be fun. Make sure to head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star rating and review. Helps out a lot. If you want to send us any questions, concerns, whatever, do so by emailing jumbledpodcast@gmail.com or johnny.jumbled@gmail.com. Find us on any and all social media within reason. I'm sure there are some out there that we don't know about by searching @Jumbled Podcast, and head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled. Get that free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. And head over to patreon.com/jumbled. Pay 500 smackaroonies and get Johnny and I an address. One singular address. I'm going to go to Canada to hop an address with Johnny. Just one.
I'm down with this escalation. All right, let's do it.
There we go. Perfect. But that's going to do it for this week. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you next time for another episode of Jumbled, your favorite podcast.
About how to take a moderately successful podcast and run it into the ground.
Dude, we fucking did that, man. We did that so good.
Oh, we forgot a really important thing, Zach. Hold up. Bonus time. Okay. We had our first ever Jumbled competition. And I think you have a winner.
Oh, yes. Okay. So I was talking about the movie that I just forgot the name of. Idiocracy. I was talking about, hey, what's that movie with Luke Wilson and, everybody's dumb as shit. Basically just walking America at this point. And Johnny wouldn't let me say the name of the movie, and our dear pal Lacey won the competition. So
She got
Lacey,
that, like, day one of release too, didn't she?
she knew it. She knew what I was talking about. Well, I think it was a big spoiler to say Luke Wilson, because he hasn't been in a whole lot of movies.
That's fair. Did not pick up on that little hinters there.
Yeah, so she probably got that one pretty quick because of that. But regardless, I don't know if Johnny has contacted you, Lacey, but there should be a $20 card coming your way.
We're gonna up the ante on that, and to test to see if Lacey listens to this episode and gets
she's
through the
been
midsection.
asking us when we're gonna get back on it.
That's
so
true.
She's gonna be listening.
You get 24 hours notice, Lacey, from the time that it gets posted. Otherwise, we're going to a second place winner so that we don't get called for collusion.
And the second place winner, if we haven't received any other entries, go ahead and just
in now.
get your entries in. Just let us know. Hey, just email the word idiocracy. The first one that hits us, if Lacey hasn't said anything in 24 hours, it's yours.
Yep, I agree
Send
to
us
that.
send us
Crisp
your
$20 American bill. Even iron it.
good old Andrew Jackson gets a nice press.
I'm telling you right now,
gets,
if I'm sending that $20 bill to Lacey, I'm gonna find a fucked up way to get it to her.
You should make like you know how she sent us the butthole chocolates? You should make a dick chocolate and curl it up, put it inside of it. Tell her to eat it.
Butthole chocolate sounds even better.
And then just stick it in the butthole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. All right, guys. Well, that's it. So
congratulations. You have 24 hours.
The timer starts now, Lacey. We'll see you guys later.
Recording.
That's what I thought, bitch.
Bitch.
All right. Get my microphone at proper height. Okay.
Hold on.
Jesus Christ, man.